My dad said to me once, "You know why I started the restaurant?" I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because then I know that my family would never go hungry." That's really stuck with me for a restaurant. I think longevity is part of the DNA. If I can have the restaurant as long as they have had the restaurant before passing it on to me, I will feel like I've succeeded.
Thank you for joining us and having a talk.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We are here with Justin Pichetrungsi, of best known for Anajak Thai, A Tale of Tacos and Tuesdays, Succession. I spent a lot of time on that.
Wow,
thank you. A Tale of Tacos and Tuesdays. I'm going to read off a few of your accolades here and see how well you can cringe while I do it. Anajak, his restaurant, awarded LA Times Best Run of the Year. You've earned the James Beard Award for Best Chef California in 2023. You've received a Michelin Plate honor 3 years in a row. You've been a judge on Top Chef. You've served the glitterati of Hollywood tacos in an alley in the Valley, and they keep coming back for more. Thank you for your service. Anajak was a staple, kind of an institution in the Valley as a restaurant. Justin completely kind of rebirthed it for a whole new kind of generation. And it's like the hottest restaurant and so fun to eat at. I mean, I guess to start, what was your dad saying to you on that day that you handed him the sledgehammer and was like, we're going to, this is the moment we're rebuilding this thing?
I didn't know that Terry was going to bring that hammer, and I didn't know that that was going to happen. And Terry, who's, become a very close friend of mine now, my GC, was more or less a kind of a philosophical advisor through the process of this change for me. And that's the reason why I had chosen him to be the GC of this project. And there's probably no project that I'll do without him for, moving forward. And my dad said to me, there was a moment where we were about to open and it was all white drywall, concrete, and then a few wood beams. There was nothing in it, no furniture, no art, no nothing. And I was like really getting the shakes about it. And I brought Dad in. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I want to talk to you." He's like, "Oh yeah, what's up?" So I bring Dad in and brought him in a wheelchair at night. And I said, "Dad, am I making a big mistake here?" And he goes, he didn't even think twice. He's like, "No, you have to change a restaurant every 10, 15 years. It's time, the time that I had spent here, it's done. And we have to just try out new stuff." And he was all about that. There's stuff that he had destroyed that he had made. And it just reminded me that, the process of creativity begins with the process of destruction in many cases, either physically, like what we had done, or metaphorically. But now I can feel the ghost of the old place still there. I'm like, this is where that wall would have been. If I really close my eyes, it's like closing your eyes to be in your old college dorm room. You could be there if you really wanted to. And everyone that works there that was there before knows what we went through in order to make that happen. And they know where they came from in the space too. So when people ask me, it's like, someone asked me what defines the taste of Anajak. I really thought about this and I was like, the taste of Anajak is defined by growth. It's the growth, whatever that tastes like, which is yesterday in your sketchbook, your drawings look like this, but today they look like this. And you can see just by flipping back how much you've grown within these many days. So you don't get that instant gratification, but if you document it, then you can at least see it over time. Yeah. But dad was down for it. Mom was reluctant. Um, because she's reluctant to change. But to both of their credit, they saw this kind of like drive that I had, and they saw the momentum that I had, and they would always ask me questions, and they would continue to ask me questions, but they knew that there wasn't really a way to change my mind about it. Um, the first time I served tacos at Anajak, she's like, "Whoa, we have a Mexican restaurant now?" And I'm like, "Maybe." I mean, I don't know. And then we're doing an omakase. And she goes, "Well, no, we're a Japanese restaurant?" I'm like, I don't know, Mom. Like, no, but yeah, I don't know. No, we're obviously not. But but the spirit of it is still kind of like the same, and I think she sees that I kind of honor my dad's recipes, and I honor his. It is still a staple, actually, because it's not really fancy food. It's food. It's like it's food you want to eat, I think, at least in my mind,
It is.
my hope.
A lot of people want
Yeah.
to eat it. Where does okay, so for people listening that don't know what this all means with the tacos, where does that idea come from, and what was it, and what is it now?
Um, yeah, you have to set yourself in the beginning of the get cozy now. You have to set yourself in the beginning of the pandemic, and when I had just taken over the restaurant, um, and I was working in a kitchen of two or three other cooks who were older than me and all Oaxacan. And I was coming in as my father's son to lead a kitchen.
Coming from not a restaurant.
Coming from not a restaurant.
What were you doing? Why don't we set the stage? Because I think that that's important as well.
And
it sets you up as the storyteller,
I guess that makes sense. I mean, I was born a painter, sort of how I think of it. And I pursued a career in art and entertainment. And I went to Art Center to study entertainment design. So when I left, I pursued a career as a concept artist at Disney and other places too, and that's where I ended up. I ended up doing interactive and R&D and Imagineering, and it was a fun time to be an artist and develop a career. But I was there for more than 10 years. So 10 years goes by, and you're like, I wonder if I'm done with the career now, almost, because this, I felt this kind of itchiness to go back and help my folks, kind of a guilt inside, seeing them work so hard post-recession. Anajak was a really hard place to work because it was open on Mondays and it was like not making enough money. And so I was like, I had all these ideas, and obviously Disney had taken me to some great places, and I was eating and, meditating on the road, really thinking about what I wanted to do with the place. And it gave me a little bit of time because I would work at Anajak after I'd finish at Disney. I was working in like a couple different time zones. I was really tired, but I just wanted to go back and work the floor at Anajak. I started the wine program there, and then I was cooking with Dad. And it was starting to kind of pick up, a little bit. And I was feeling really good about it. We were illustrating menus. And then Dad has a stroke. I'm forced to leave. Actually, I'm not forced to leave my job. I just stopped going. And all my bosses, to their credit, all really knew how much I really want to go back to Anajak. Because we do these like, company parties and team outings there. They saw how much I loved it. So I just stopped going. And the next day I was cooking on the walk. I was going to the market. I was cooking on the walk, and just trying to remember via my dad's, movements and the sounds of that he'd make on the walk, um, how to recreate everything. And it was a hard time because you had to learn during service. Good way to learn, but hard way to learn. And it took me a while to kind of earn the respect of the cooks that were there. Now, those cooks are still there, and I'm happy to report, and they're my favorite. I love them. Chef Peter, Chef Delfino, they're just, they're the quiet ones, but I trust them so much. And they know how things were done even before, in the dark ages, in the medieval times at Anajak. So, in my search of trying to find love from them, we all want to just get love from the people that we work with. But they're executing at a very high level, and I need to learn from them. And yet, at the same time, I was their boss, which is a dynamic that's hard to navigate. So I'm like, I'm gonna cook within their cuisine. And I got, and I'm like, I'm going to do tacos for family meal. I know I can bust this out with great confidence. I had a solid carnitas recipe. And so I did carnitas and some yellow corn tortillas, and I made some salsas and stuff. And they just kept coming back, I did them single serving, and they were like, this was good.
So you're just serving this to like the team at the restaurant.
Just the team. They're like, this is pretty good. And I felt like, oh, okay. It was the first time I cooked something that was sort of more or less my own that felt like someone really enjoyed it. I wasn't executing dad's dishes. It was just my own. And I gave it to one of my friends who's a guest. They said, you should put this on. And I was like, wow, what are you talking about? They're like, you should do a Taco Tuesday. You should do a Thai Taco Tuesday. And I was like, the alliteration is pretty nice. I do like that. And then, the next week I did a fish taco. I did a carnitas taco. I think I sold about 5 of each, and I felt like I was on top of the world. I was like, this is so exciting. A restaurant within a restaurant almost. So this is the beginning of the small, bud that's about to branch off, and that's you had Chris Yenbangrun in, right? And I've told him this, but I've always seen what he's done. He built a new tree alongside his parents' tree, but for me, I'm building a new branch off the same tree. And I often, in the early days, was very envious that he just started fresh, more or less. But now I realize this was sort of my calling, was to be the steward of it,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you're selling a few of these tacos. From my point of view, I remember Olivia Sway, our friend, was like, oh, we're going to Taco Tuesday at Anajak Thai. And I was like, go on. Like, what is this? Like, because I was completely unfamiliar. And I went, and, it was like outside the restaurant. It's in the alleyway, long tables. And it felt like just like super fun. And then the menu was just like, oh, like this is dope. It's like I can get an uni taco, I can get a toro taco. Like it was taking a lot of the things that I, kind of like love about, it was just funny. Your mom was like, "Oh, are we a Japanese restaurant? Are we a?" But I guess we're just now we become like just a Justin
We're just a
restaurant.
restaurant.
We're just a
Yeah.
restaurant that serves things that you want to eat,
Yeah.
and that fortunately other people really want to eat. And then there's like a line growing out the thing, and then people are calling me asking me to help them cut the line and all the things, and I'm like, no, there's an honor system here. I can't do that to Justin, but. Tell me about how, like, when did you realize this was working, and like walk me through the story of like how Taco Tuesday became this Los Angeles phenomenon.
Well, we were so like starved for something fun during the pandemic. We're starved for something fun to do creatively, and we are starved for something fun to go out and how to spend time with our friends. And also our industry, which was more or less in this depressive phase for the first couple months of the pandemic. But after you move through depression, you enter boredom. And the beauty about boredom is that creativity kind of blossoms in under the blanket of boredom. There's always those quiet moments where you come up with great ideas. It's never the stressful ones where the ideas come about. So in the quiet of the pandemic, we thought we would go against the grain and try to throw a really fun and yet also safe party. It was outside, and we were blessed with the this little alley, which is actually a private driveway that our neighbors, which used to live in the back, would like park. So they would park there. My auntie would park, in the driveway, and then we just throw this party where we'd be cooking tacos around, and it just became a little bit of a phenomenon. I didn't even realize it was happening until, we didn't even have table numbers. We were just calling out people's names. And Kelsey, my girlfriend, was like, "You have a full alley and you don't have table numbers?" I was like, "Why would you need table numbers? It's not that many people here." Oh my God. Yes, we need table numbers. Because we were walking around like, Dave, there's a taco for. I was like, how do we not think of this? I was still learning how to run a restaurant, I guess. And then we would just play music as loud as we could before people would complain. Thankfully, no. Thankfully, only a good few people have complained. But that's just how it goes at Anajak.
And I remember when I came and I met your dad was outside. I think your mom was like working. Your dad was kind of chilling outside, and you introduced me to him. And it was just like a really warm environment. I mean, what was your mom thinking? I guess she's resistant to change, but like, what were your parents feeling like at this moment when it's like, oh, this is new, this is different?
I had to give her a really like clear job to do. And she was like, "What if I do mango sticky rice?" And I was like, "Well, I love that idea. You should totally do that." And that became like her thing. It became my way to kind of distract her a little bit from the intensity of everything going on and her scrutinizing all the things going on. But it was important for me to show Dad, I think, a little bit what we had made, right? And I think my thesis is that a restaurant is not just within the four walls. Like, you can look just outside of the four walls. You can look even further outside if you'd like. But I felt so confined, I guess. And it was time to like really expand. He was stoked. He Dad orders a fish. He orders fish tacos every Tuesday to be taken home to him, and I'm honored. So he'll probably put his order in tonight.
That's great. So what is it like now at Anajak? What is the guest experience?
It's a little bit less rowdy, I will say, because TTT is not on the it's not this rogue renegade underground vibe that it used to be. It's now like regular dinner service with a printed menu. Before I was handwriting the menus, and then it was taking so much to like plan my day to write this menu. And I was like, I'm just going to go into printed menus. And so now it's like a civilized service, as civilized as it could be. It's indoors and it's outdoors. And it's incorporated with the rest of the menu so people can still kind of partake in the other things that they really like. I will say, I would say this to you anywhere, but there was a moment a few years before, Dad's stroke, before I had taken over, which it was starting to come into my mind that maybe I would want to do this. And I made them watch Jiro Dreams of Sushi on a vacation that we had taken them to Santa Barbara. And I was like, yeah, watch this movie. And they're like, well, what movie? I don't want to watch a movie. And I was like, no, just sit down and just watch this. I think it's about sushi. Oh, Justin, you're always watching stuff that has to do with food. Like, well, let's watch a regular movie. And I was like, no, I really want you to just, there's subtitles? I'm like, yeah, but just, and then I push play and within like 10, 15 minutes, they're silent. They're watching Jiro make sushi, and they eventually, feel this father-son story. I used this movie as a way to infiltrate them and get them to understand that there would be one day the concept of succession would have to breach their brains. So thank you.
Oh, honor. So he kind of saw himself. He saw some Jiro in himself.
Yeah. Of course. And actually, I don't know if anyone knows this, but some people know this, but my dad was a sous chef for 12 years here in LA.
Actually, I did not know that.
Yeah. Before he started the restaurant. And so he's really good at doing sushi. That's sort of what also helped kind of get him to zone in on the story. He's pretty good at it. Yeah, he actually had a couple more Japanese style leaning dishes on the old menu that he just kind of did as like a something fun for himself.
Yeah. And what is the cuisine of Anajak Thai today? Like, how do you describe your cooking?
Yeah, it's a good question. Is it Thai food? Is it LA food? Is it American? Is it kind of new American? I don't know. I think I describe it as generational cuisine because really what it is dad had bastardized like Thai food because he'd been here since he was 18. So it's only what he could really remember as his nostalgia of Thai food and his limited scope of understanding, as we all have. So he bastardized Thai food, and then I bastardize his food.
And what were some of his?
It's a cuisine of bastards.
Just imagine like a Thai pirate ship with some, shoji screens occasionally.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some of his greatest hits, and what did you do to them?
Oh, that's a good question. So, well, the hardest of his greatest hits is the fried chicken, because fried chicken is an easy recipe to do for a party of 4 at home. But to scale the recipe to 300 people a night is a very different, it's a mega task. And it requires a little bit of understanding of different things going on chemically, even with the marinade and the brine and things like that. So we had to modify recipes dramatically in order to make them taste the same, actually. And it's one of those things that you don't realize in cooking, which is that you can't just 10x a recipe and have it make sense. I didn't know this when I started. He taught me this recipe for a crab curry, which is called pongkari. And it's using dried Indian spices. And I was trying, when he was in the hospital, I was trying to kind of like ignite his like cooking brain, kind of diving Bell and the Butterfly him through his like, techniques and stuff. And he would describe to me the technique of like how to make it. And I'd be like, okay, I got it. I went and I tried to make the crab curry. I'm like, Dad, it doesn't taste right. He's like, oh, okay. how did you do it? And I tell him, he's like, oh, you forgot that one step. I was like, you didn't tell me that one step. So then I go back, I do it again. I'm like, something's still not right. He's like, what did you do? I was like, I did this, I did that. And he goes, oh, I forgot to tell you one more step. And then I did it, and then it was right. And I realized what he was doing was this is like a teacher teaching you the basics and moving you through. Um, this is how he would teach anyone how to cook, really, which is you just start with the simple part of the recipe, and then you get all the nuance in. And he was kind of teaching me remotely how to do this. And it's still on the menu today. We do it with lobster or we do it with Dungeness crab. And it's a dish where we bring out these very embarrassing blue medical gloves for people to, and crackers, and get our Smurf gloves on and go to town. That's been a really fun one to do.
Yeah. And he was doing it with the gloves and the whole thing. It was like a lobster dinner, kind of like with it. Is there a bib as well?
You know what? I am going to work on designing a bib.
That's great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I think a bib is fun and a little like hands-on, a little fun for the diner. We like that. We like that. And then what did you do to it since, have you evolved it, or has that one kind of stayed the same?
I mean, most of the sourcing I evolved, seafood sourcing, product sourcing, things like that. I guess it's not evolved, but it's just like, just continue to do it without getting, you have to find a way to continue to do it without getting like bored of it. So little things have to change. So actually we reserve all the tomoli of the crab, and then we mix it into the sauce. So the sauce is like truly essence of crab. And that adds a whole other level of, for a seafood person, this is like, it's a good sauce, I think.
Great. What is a Thai omakase?
Well, that was the question that I had asked myself. I don't know why I started to do it, really. I think a couple friends asked me, probably the same friends that asked me to do the TTT, was like, would you just do a tasting menu for us? I was like, yeah, of course. Easy. Let's do a couple of dishes and this and that. And then it became this thing where we would change it every day. It would not be the same every day. We'd write a menu for the day, and then it would change by the night, and then the next day it'd be completely different. And what I was doing was I was just publishing the R&D and having people, eat the R&D, so I could get real time feedback on how things were actually working. I was a little bit, when we were reopening the restaurant, pandemic was more or less coming to a close. Restaurants were opening up again, and I was out there in the omakase. The omakase became this little island that was just kind of for me, because we were in the middle of the parking lot, in the middle of the alley, with six guests positioned around my little kitchen island and a grill and a little induction. And then I had a Yeti filled with different things. It was a lot of fun. And it was a way for me to really discover my style, and sketch out things that I felt I needed to sketch out. And I was a little bit avoiding going back into the main kitchen.
I see.
It was like, the main kitchen. I'm like, I felt so safe in my own little space. So I kind of like held on as long as I could before I realized the main kitchen was going to become the more important kitchen to helm, because the team was going to feel lost and alienated without me. So we eventually just did it as a quarterly or a monthly or a quarterly, and then now it's more or less a biannual occurrence.
Right. And it kind of becomes like your space to try new things and get immediate feedback from the diners. What is your first memory of the restaurant? your earliest memory of the restaurant, like as a kid?
My parents say that I had come from the hospital right to the restaurant after
When you were born,
when I was born.
literally.
But I don't remember that day.
Okay. Right, that would be normal.
Actually, I do remember that day. It was a pretty busy night. It's probably
Yeah,
100
anybody was
covers.
like, yeah, I remember when I was one and
Yeah. Ah,
first gave me
the first day of my
a
birth.
fork.
Yes, I remember that
Yeah,
day.
yeah. But no, what is your actual?
My actual first memory when I was a kid, we would have a little office. That office now is the wine room, one of the wine cellars at Anajak. And my dad's office it's very, very small. It's a quarter the size of this room. And that's where I would be. We'd have a tiny little TV. We'd have maybe 8 VHS. We had Cinderella, The Matrix, Tom and Jerry. I think that was it. I could really only watch 3 things as a child for at least a couple of years.
And this is while your parents are working in the
No,
restaurant.
working in the restaurant
They're
is a
sticking you
busy
in the
Saturday
office
night.
and you're
I'm
watching these three.
with my sister, these 3. This is kind of like, well, what do we feel like, you know? Cinderella's for her, Matrix was for me, Tom and Jerry was for both of us.
Right.
Enjoyable.
And that became, did that affect your, I guess, did that kind of make you want to be an artist? Or like is it interesting that, you got into Disney? Hmm?
Yeah. What got me into being an artist was probably seeing my grandfather paint. When you go to the restaurant, all the paintings in the restaurant are my grandfather's.
Wow.
There's all the oils that he had done as a professional artist, the royal court painter for the former king of Thailand. He did. We have some of those pieces in the West Wing.
Wow.
In the East Wing is all the watercolors after he had retired, and he was doing watercolor classes, and they were all landscapes done plein air, beautiful. And so I wanted to have those in the East, kind of difference in the space. And that's sort of what sparked my interest in it. Going into more entertainment, of course. I mean, I was playing a lot of video games and reading a lot of comics as a kid.
Okay. What's like your favorite game?
Probably the most impactful is Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah, for me it's
A real storied
7 and 6.
7 and 6.
Well, it was
yeah.
3. It was 3 when it came out in the U.S. for the Super Nintendo. How old are you?
39.
Okay, right.
But 7 on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's like
that's the epitome.
That's
of
like kind of
video
the greatest
games.
game by a lot of people. Interesting. Okay. And then how did that affect how does Final Fantasy VII affect the future of Anajak Thai?
Right now I'm in Midgar and I'm trying to get out.
You got a big Buster Sword?
I got a big Buster Sword and I'm collecting my materia and I'm trying to get some experience points with people, really. It is very much, actually it's less of a role-playing game and more of like a time management, right? A restaurant is like, oh yeah, you go do this thing. Oh shoot, that thing's not okay. Now we do this thing. All right, let's apply more money here, and okay, now we can see some growth. So, in the best of days, it's like that. In the worst of days, it's command and conquer, red alert, and the Russians are invading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I like the video game metaphor. And that's why, so eventually people just started making cooking games because they were like, this makes
like Parappa the Rapper.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. The PS1 era is fantastic. Where are you at now in your life? And like, what are your goals?
The restaurant's still growing. The team still forming below. And just trying to find ways to mentor more and build more structure below me. I'm still there most nights. I had a few nights to go out and eat, but I'm trying to be there to just watch and learn from them and sort of whisper in their ear here and there. I'd like to see if it would grow more without me. Because I'm in the mode where like I kind of want to explore some other things. But it's such a baby to me, and we're
Mm-hmm.
still. It's almost like once we reopened, it felt like a completely new restaurant to take care of. So I don't know. Just still trying to build some pillars around.
Mm.
The growth of the company is crazy. It's like 70 employees now, which is a lot.
Yeah. What are all the projects and things? Like, what do you, where are we going? Where's Anajak going?
Well, we're really building out. We're building out a pretty strong events team. The place is a little bit bigger. Anajak is lucky in the sense that we very much feel a part of so many of the industries here in Los Angeles. It's something that's a great part of having a restaurant in Los Angeles is that the music industry is ever present in the dining room. The film industry is ever present in the dining room. And even the fashion industry. And there's so many creatives there. So creatives have always found themselves, I think, attracted to the creative energy and spirit that we have. And my thought is that, we've gotten so many inquiries to do these events and get outside of the restaurant. And I think it's because we don't have other restaurants that people can participate in that we tend to now go out and venture out. And
Mm-hmm.
so in order for me to step away, I have to be comfortable stepping away and
Yep.
have a team that I can do that with. And so I think I'm excited about the growth. My parents are getting older, so they're seeing they're seeing me there at the helm now for a couple years. It's like 7 years into me being a chef there. And according to Malcolm Gladwell, I've got another 3 years before I can really master it.
Okay. To get your 10,000
I
hours.
got to get my 10,000 hours in.
Okay. Well, that's great. I think that's a really kind of humble and honest way of approaching mastery. It's the only way
Well,
to do it right,
think about
right?
how many careers you can live in one lifetime. If you live to 90, well, subtract the first 10 years of your life because you're useless for the first 10. But from 10 to 20, you could probably master one skill. That means that you could probably master 8 skills within one lifetime. And out of the 8, how many could turn into a bona fide career
Mm-hmm.
that's meaningful to you? Maybe 4 if you're lucky.
Well, four, if you pivot right when you hit mastery, is that what we're saying?
Well, that's what you'd have to do.
Right. Is that something you're doing? Are you planning on doing something else, or are you
Um,
outside of
Gosh, that's a good.
restaurant?
I don't know yet.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll just focus
Maybe
on
we'll
this.
go back into painting. Maybe I'll I shoot a lot of photos, so maybe I'll because that's what I do mostly at the restaurant now.
Mm-hmm.
I should take a photo of you now while I'm
Okay,
here,
sure.
if that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally great. Oh, wow, look at that.
Actually, so I can remember.
There's a mm, there's a real feeling of nostalgia that you hang. It's like you're building. You want to build new stuff, but you have a real appreciation for the past.
Yes,
Why? What's with the
I'm
camera and all the
the old cameras.
yeah? What's with
Um,
all the stuff?
I don't know the new. Sometimes
No, not too
we're
technical about. I'm not
we're
getting into
so.
technical about the camera. I'm just saying, like, for
Yeah,
why
that's
the
for later.
impulse? Why the
Oh, the
impulse?
impulse. I don't
What are you
know.
hanging on to? Do you think, or what are you doing?
What am I hanging on to? I mean, I guess I'm hanging on to the stories.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't want to forget all these memories that we've made. It's so easy to forget.
Yes.
And I think also there's so much inspiration we're always looking sort of towards the future for things, right? I mean, technology and all this stuff that we are so invested in as a modern day society. But I think there's equally a great well of things to draw from in the past that is so much harder to actually access, you know. Um, who knows, like all the dishes that have been lost in the canon of Thai cuisine that haven't been documented or have been, and I just haven't read because reading Thai is hard for me. um, so maybe, I don't know. I think this is what I learned from Johnny at Rasaruma. He was like, you could probably cook for 1,000 lifetimes if you just look back and you never attempted innovation within a cuisine. And maybe through that, you'd actually eventually innovate.
Wow.
Um, but a restaurant is like really old school, you know? It's very like, it's not very technologically savvy as a space to be in. It's just tables, chairs, and food, really, and walls, usually. So I guess I am kind of old school about that.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question for you, and it's interesting because you're in an alleyway, and there are situations where I believe there were situations where you may have actually had to think about this. You're in a street fight. What weapon are you grabbing from the kitchen?
Well, we have this little knife called blanquito, and and it's a Dexter knife, which is with the white handle, and it's a boning knife that it started out as a boning knife that was like this long, and now it's only this long because we've pumped it until it's now a prison shiv.
So it's been sharp. It's been used and sharpened so many times.
So it's this tiny, and so I bought the original, and then I took a picture of it against the new. It's crazy. It's like this short, but that is the knife that has built me a lot of things, and I would take that into war.
Okay, good. Because usually we say no knives to get it a little weirder, but I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But give me a non-knife one. I like that. Blanquito is a great name, but give me one item if a knife is not available.
Well, obviously the wok is a great shield, and it's almost the same size as the Captain America shield, if you think about it.
That's right.
Um, I would just take a scoop of hot oil. It's lethal. I mean, there's no man that's gonna not squeal when they get hot oil splashed on them. So a ladle of hot oil is so beneficial in a fight. Or raw chicken juice, and just like raw chicken marinade, and just labeled as raw chicken blood, like that'll freak anyone.
Right.
Depending on who you're fighting.
Yeah, but that's more of a long term. Oh, I see what you're saying as like a deterrent.
Yes.
It's gross.
Oh, you really want this in your face right now?
Yeah, yeah.
And
or
then
like loaded
boom.
into super soakers.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
raw chicken blood. Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, you worked on. You did the food for the Emmys after party for the Bear. Is that right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
you said that show is a mirror to your place.
It really is, because every character in that show has their analog at Anajak. And if you go, as many of the cast members of The Bear have been, I introduce them to their analog character. And my auntie doesn't realize it, like what that means, but you know, many of the cast members do, and they see it, they feel it. Yeah, when you watch a couple of the first episodes, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's so fun," or "It's so PTSD," and I'm like, "It's so my everyday," you know. There were the I mean, Evan said that the worst episodes of The Bear were like a regular Tuesday night at Spago, and actually, I mean, many of the things that happened to The Bear truly did happen to me. Um, so it's very strange, but there was a night where we had Bert Bachman in, with AviQ, and we had done a collaboration, and this was in the very popular throbbing era of Taco Tuesdays, where the line was a little too nuts, and we didn't have any systems at all. The system was just Auntie like kind of yelling at people, which worked until it didn't. But the wait was so long, and I remember cooking on the walk. We were doing like a pastrami beef cheek drunken noodles. Oh, it was really good. If you were there, maybe you wouldn't have gotten your order because it was so insane. The tickets were like printing out like crazy. I like Chef Peter's like next to me on the walk. He's like, "Which ticket are you working on?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Which ticket are you working on?" And I like pull out like wads of tickets from my pockets. And he's like, he pulls out wads of tickets from his pockets. Like, why are we even putting these in our pockets? He's like, I don't know where else to put them. Like, it was just tickets everywhere. It was hilarious to see that episode.
Was there a cutoff? Like, how do you manage a line like that? And I guess Auntie yelled.
Yep.
But was there a point where like, okay, if you get on the like you may not eat if you get on the line at this point?
Yeah,
Did you warn
and
people of that?
that we got to the point where you had to like give the person who you thought was going to be the end of the line
Right.
like a little piece of
Sign,
paper
yeah,
to
yeah.
tape on their back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I had to get rid of the line.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I mean, the line causes so many problems and frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
It was unwieldy. And it was so much easier to switch back into reservations.
How do you turn over a table of lingerers?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I should even say it on camera. Well, so there's the dark arts of table turning. And there are methods that restaurants and restaurant staff employs in their attempt to make people understand that they are at the end of service. And I guess we need ways to punctuate the meal because at least in a movie, the credits roll and the lights come up and it's time to leave. And sometimes I wish that that would be more of a part of how people dined at restaurants because the economics of a restaurant really are unfortunately determined by this very small piece of real estate that you own for a small amount of time. The longer you own that real estate, then the less money the restaurant has to pay their bills. So I'll say that water is one of the most important elements in table turning because water service is a way to communicate a lot of things if done properly. And I guarantee you we're doing it improperly at Anajak this second because it's just hard to keep track of for so many tables.
Wait, so how are we getting people out of the restaurant?
Once we've reached the end of a meal, it's important that the support staff removes anything that is non-functional on the table except for the water cup and a full water thing, a jug, and that you fill water to the highest point possible. If there's wine left, even if it's this much left, then you can take this much left wine off the table if you need to, and you can ask. But it's important, I think, to go back to the table to refill the water and then you just keep going back to the table to refill the water. And then you just keep going back to the table to refill the water because it's as if we, as these like wind up toys, are now hitting this wall. And it's like, is there anything else I can get you?
They start to feel the fatigue. Like it's a way of serving while demonstrating that people are still working here. And
Exactly.
I see. That's interesting.
And then if that doesn't work, then we have to move on to the next thing, which is that the server will say, what do you guys have planned for the rest of the evening?
Oh, that's a good one. A movement for all restaurants where we all play the same end credits song. It is just like at the Oscars. You play them off, and the song comes on, and people. And I understand that in China, I can't remember what song it is, but all malls play the same song when it's
Oh my
closing time.
gosh.
So, is there
Brilliant.
a closing time song? It doesn't have to be the song closing time, although that would be funny. People could just know that when the song plays, it's your last
So
water.
this I've thought about this and it's backfired because what usually plays at Anajak when it's like last turn late is kitchen music. And before it was kitchen music in the back and then we were still playing what we front of house music in the front, right? And it was this split audio thing and it was like the audio was blending in where we had like Norteño in the back and then it was like D'Angelo in the front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, we're gonna play kitchen music.
Okay.
Once it hits 10:30, then we'll play kitchen music, and it's this is everyone's now.
Okay.
So
And then you do light dim up?
no, I don't like that.
That makes people leave feeling
But then
uncomfortable.
then you play really energetic music, and it's really fun, and then people want to stay even longer.
I know. So, like, what are you gonna? It's an interesting dilemma, and in the comments, what is the ideal music to play when it's time? And this will be good for home dinner parties and at restaurants. There should be a song.
Yes.
That means it's time to go. What is the lesson that you've learned from your parents that has stuck with you and that has become like a mantra for you?
Well, my dad said to me once on a road trip, he said, "You know why I started the restaurant?" I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because then I know that, my family would never go hungry." And that's really stuck with me, even though I don't have kids yet, you think about that. No, I think longevity is part of the DNA of a place, and it's real. This idea of Kaizen, runs deep in the kitchen to make everything a little. Just find one thing to make better every day, and I am trying to do that, and I know that I'm failing about half the time. Um, I could use a little bit of help, in order to increase the percentage of success there for sure. Um, if I can have the restaurant as long as they have had the restaurant before passing it on to me, I will feel like I've succeeded. But I also shouldn't feel the pressure of that at the same time, So there's a little bit of, I'm anxious about it in a way where it's like, is longevity the key for a restaurant? Or is it okay that some things like El Bulli is closed and El Bulli lives on forever? It's like, what, but I don't know if that's, we're not going to turn into a foundation for Thai American cooking. Or maybe.